Welcome to my new video, Procurement Management. As a project manager, sooner or later, you will need to obtain goods and services from outside your organization. To make this happen, you will have to work closely with your contract management team. Procurement management is one of the areas of the PMP that project managers struggles with because they don't pay enough attention or they don't have much experience with drawing up contracts. Project manager work starts after the contracts are signed. After studying this knowledge area, you will become more comfortable with contracts. Procurement management includes the processes that help you get the products or services you need from outside the project, like human resources or equipment. It also teaches you how to monitor and control the agreements once in place. Procurements are also known as agreements. Agreements may consist of the following types: contracts, purchase orders, memoranda of agreements, internal service level agreements. Procurements are legal binding documents. The project manager does not need to be an expert in contracting to be involved, but having knowledge in this knowledge area helps. Typically, there will be certain members of the project team authorized to make purchases, or it might be someone in the organization like purchasing, contracting, and legal. Contracts will include information on the deliverables and the expected results. In fact, anything you need to know about the procurement will be in the contract. There are two terms to focus on. Number one is buyer. A buyer could be the owner of the product, a subcontractor, the acquiring organization, or the purchaser. And we have seller. The seller can be known as the contractor, vendor, service provider, or supplier. So what is project procurement management? As a project manager, there will be times when you will need to buy things, for example, goods and services from outside your organization or team, so you can successfully deliver your project. To do that, you must focus on the following. You will have to get a contract signed first. Typically, this involves collaborating with external sources like sellers or vendors to get what you need. This is known as procurement. More specifically, procurement involves things like identifying a need, determining how best to source that need, negotiating terms and conditions, for example, pricing and signing contracts. However, procurement have to be managed in coordinated fashion in order for you to realize the greatest benefits. This is where the management and procurement management comes into play. From a project management perspective, you might want to seamlessly integrate procurement into your overall project. You see, the objective of the procurement management is to acquire products and services at competitive prices with favorable terms that allow you to meet your project's objective. This usually includes signing a legal binding document like a contract that protects your interest and makes sure everyone is in agreement. So procurement management also includes the administration of the contracts to ensure all obligations are met. No project is complete until all contracts are closed out, invoices are paid, and lessons learned are documented. When you realize you don't have all of the resources you need to complete your project work, so what to do? it might look something like this. You will want to figure out what you need for the project. Then you can share the criteria with your contract team. They'll identify a list of potential vendors, and you will have an opportunity to let them know which one you prefer. Once the contract team selects the winning vendor, you will then need to work with them to complete your project. And third one is, you must understand small versus large projects. On large projects, you will most likely work with your contract team to acquire the goods and services you need. In this case, you would manage project performance while your contracts team manages all aspects of the contract. However, on smaller projects, you might play a more active role in procurement processes. So, what is your role as a project manager? Whether you're working on larger or small projects, it's important for you to stay in the loop on what's happening throughout the entire procurement processes. Your company might give you the authority to enter into agreement, but might not allow you to administer or modify them. Or you might be authorized to sign, modify, or even cancel the contracts. So, as a project manager, you must do the following: engage in contract negotiation, work with your team to tailor contracts to align with your project plan, identify risks early and see that they are incorporated into the contract, make sure all of the work that agreed to in the contract is completed, bring changes to your contract team's attention. So, you must understand important things to remember. There is not a one size fits all when it comes to the contracting. Contracts can be as simple or detailed as needed. Second, deliverables should be as clear as possible. This will reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings and disappointing results later on. Third, it goes without saying, it's not listed in the contract, then it's not legal enforceable. How many times you have left minor details out of the contract and simply shook hands on it? If it's important enough to agree on, then it's important enough to get into writing and include it in a contract. The project team needs to ensure procurements meet the needs of the project. Since your team will be incorporating the procurement into their work, they are in the best position to determine if the procurements are sufficient. Before signing on the dotted line, have your legal team review all contracts. It can't hurt to have another set of eyes look them over before you legally commit your organization. So, the quicker you wrap your hands around these concepts, the better. It will increase your understanding and give you a leg up when managing your procurements. That is the end of today's lecture. Hope you will like the lecture and video. Thank you.